Hi, this is Mrs. Slater, and throughout today's lesson, there's going to be a smiley face everywhere that you need to write in your notes. Anything else you can just listen to along the way. Okay, so today, 3.7 notes are all about parallel and perpendicular lines and their slopes. What are parallel and perpendicular lines? Let's draw an example of each in your notebook. Parallel lines are lines that never touch, as you can see in the picture. And perpendicular lines are lines that touch in one place and form a right angle. Please push pause and write down both definitions. So now let's take a look at the graph of two parallel lines. What do you notice? You can see that they never touch and will continue on in both directions forever. Parallel lines have the same slope. So how in the world are we going to remember this? This will be a little extra assignment. You'd have to look up the tune of Skip to Malou and see if you can relate parallel lines have the same slope and they will never meet to the tune of Skip to Malou. What about perpendicular lines? Slopes of perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes, which means take the slope and flip it, then make it opposite. So if we take the slope and flip it, it would be 2 over 1. Then make it opposite is going to make it negative, or we would write in simplified form -2. The graphs of lines that are perpendicular are going to look like these following lines. And as you can see already, you've got 2/3 as one slope and -3/2 as the perpendicular slope. So we know that those are opposite reciprocal. So if we graph these, it would be up 2 and then up 2 over 3, and we can continue up 2 over 3 until we run out of room. And connecting the two of them, or all many points, forms that line. Now if you start on the other one at 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the slope of -3, 2, continue that until we run out of space to do so. It's going to look like this. And again, connecting that line gives you parallel lines. I didn't mean that, perpendicular lines. So we can put a perpendicular symbol in for that line. So that is what perpendicular lines look like. So here's another thing I would like you to look up. Look up the tune of Peanut Butter and Jelly and see if you can sing this tune to help you remember. Okay, so let's tell the difference, but let's look to see if we can tell the difference if it's parallel or perpendicular. We're comparing everything to y equals 2x plus 6, and if you notice, the slope in A is the exact same as the given slope, so this one would be parallel. In the next one, you have a -2 compared with a 2, and it's neither. It's not the same, and it's not opposite reciprocal, so we're going to have to put neither. The next 4, I'd like you to push pause and check in after you are complete. If you got neither for the next one, you are correct. And for D, this is our first perpendicular slope. So we would say perpendicular here. And E is the exact same slope, 2 and then 2 matches, so we have parallel again. And then for the last one, you should have found perpendicular because it's opposite reciprocal. Alright, so let's go ahead and write the equation of a line that is parallel to the following. There are many, many, many examples you can have there. We're just going to have a few of them. For the first one, A few of them could be like y equals 4x minus 1. Notice the only difference is going to be the y-intercept. As long as you have the slope exactly the same, it doesn't matter what number you put as the y-intercept. They will always, always, always be parallel because they have the same slope. Okay? Now for the next one, it is y equals negative 2/3. So if anything is y to the negative 2/3, then you know you have a line that is parallel to the given. Okay? So now let's write an equation of a line that's parallel to the following and goes through the point 6, 5. So the slope we can take from here. Slope is 2/3. We also know that a formula that we have learned already is called the point slope form. In this case, we have slope and we have a point. So let's go ahead and use the point slope form. And after you plug in numbers, y minus 5 and 2/3 times x minus 6 is the point slope form. To get the slope intercept form, we can go ahead and simplify. So it would be y minus 5 equals 2/3 x minus 4. And then by adding both sides by 5, you get 2/3 x plus 1. So point slope form, y-intercept form, or slope-intercept form, and then the last one is standard form. So if I multiply everything by 3, I get rid of the fraction, and if I move everything and set it equal to 0, I would get negative 2x plus 3y minus 3 for standard form. Okay, now let's talk about perpendicular. Write an equation of the line that is perpendicular to the following. And as we know already that the perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes, the first one, if we have y equals a negative 1/4 x plus anything, that is going to be a correct answer because the slopes have opposite reciprocal. It could be anything you want to put there, and that would be correct as long as you have the opposite reciprocal slope. And then the next one, y equals negative 2/3, opposite reciprocal of that is, perpendicular slope is 3/2. So y equals 3/2 x plus 12, and y equals 3/2 x minus 102. Those are all going to be, both of those are going to be perpendicular to the second equation. Okay, so on the next one, we have to work a little bit just to find that slope. But when we do, we'll be able to solve this equation, to find the equation line that's perpendicular to the following and goes through the following point. So I'm going to solve for y first. And I'm going to divide everything by 3. X over 3 is really 1/3 x. So that's the standard, or that's the slope-intercept form for the original. Now I don't need all of it. All I need is the fact that the slope is at 1/3. And then when you see the word perpendicular, you automatically have to switch that slope to the perpendicular slope, which is the opposite reciprocal. So this is the number that I'm going to use with this point. Okay, so again, we have slope and we have a point. So that means we're going to use the point slope formula. Y minus 5 equals slope x minus 2. So there's point slope form. If we want in slope intercept form, we'd have to simplify negative 3x plus 6, and then add 5 to both sides, negative 3x plus 11. Slope intercept form. And standard form is not too far away. We don't have to worry about a fraction here. We just have to get everything set equal to 0. So 3x plus y minus 11 equals 0. And that would be standard form. And finally, the two songs that you were given throughout the lesson today. If you are willing to sing it, There will be some candy tomorrow.